Since May 2022, two rumors have been making rounds online. One is that Chinese President Xi Jinping has a brain aneurysm, and the other is that there is a coup within the CCP and Chinese Premier Li Keqiang would replace Xi. We noticed that these rumors have been spreading like wildfire in the Chinese community, mainly because these two recent rumors came from Western media. So, are they true? Is Xi's power secure? On May 14th, the British newspapers The Sun and the Daily Mail revealed that Chinese President Xi Jinping, 68, was suspected of having a brain aneurysm, a fatal disease. After being rushed to the hospital, Xi wanted to be treated with traditional Chinese medicine rather than undergo major surgery. Sources, which the two media reports are based on, are from India-based Asia News International, or ANI, which reported on May 10th that Xi Jinping had a brain aneurysm in late 2021. The health of its leaders has always been a top secret of the CCP regime. It is unclear who originally broke the news. In fact, in late December 2020, the news went viral on Twitter that Xi had undergone surgery for a brain aneurysm and was in critical condition. It was also said that a special national crisis office had been set up before Xi was admitted because of the significance of the incident. The earliest source of such information was allegedly an Argentinian account. Previously, Xi had at least 4 public episodes of physical abnormalities. One of the earlier ones is when Xi visited France on March 25, 2019. A video shows Xi and French President Macron parading an honor guard. Xi was swaying on both sides with unbalanced steps. One observer said that Xi seemed unable to move his legs. A more recent incident took place on December 15, 2021, when Xi held a video meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Beijing. According to Reuters, a video released by the Russian side accidentally shows Xi coughing 3 times in a row. However, the program broadcast by China's Central Television, CCTV, the official Chinese media, didn't include this segment. According to our observations, Xi's health performance in the past 2 years suggests that he may be ill, but not necessarily in a serious condition. If he were seriously ill, then selecting the party's successor should already be on the agenda of the party's bigwigs. The CCP treats such events as extremely confidential intelligence, and it's difficult for outsiders to confirm or further clarify. What we have noticed is that the rumors of a coup had gone alongside the rumors that Xi is suffering from a brain aneurysm. The previous report in the British newspaper The Sun also said that Xi Jinping's extreme lockdown measures had triggered concerns of a coup d'etat. The Sun's article reads, "Experts have already claimed Xi could be ousted by rivals fed up with the country's regime within the next 18 months. The report cited Roger Garside, the author of China Coup, The Great Leap to Freedom, saying Xi will be booted out by internal opponents within the Chinese Communist Party in a coup in Beijing. Such rumors are spreading widely on overseas Chinese social media. Meanwhile, since early May, a number of overseas bloggers have been disclosing that Xi has been subjected to a coup d'etat. Currently, Xi has 3 official titles: Chinese Communist Party General Secretary, Chinese President, and Chairman of the Chinese Military Commission. The rumors are that Xi had already ceded the post of CCP General Secretary to Chinese Premier Li Keqiang at a May 5th meeting. The CCP will hold its 20th National Congress this fall, which will determine whether Xi will be re-elected. Currently, Xi doesn't want to let go of the president position or the chairmanship of the Military Commission after the 20th National Congress and has proposed to the Communist Party's patriarchs and Li Keqiang's team to keep both positions. The patriarchs and Li Keqiang's faction are currently considering Xi's request. The source also said that the coup was successful because Xi's party nemesis, former party leader Jiang was behind the military force. At the same time, on May 2nd, it was rumored that the Chinese People's Liberation Army entered Beijing and Shanghai, forcing Xi to concede his position conditionally. A Twitter user shared a video of tanks and armored vehicles entering Beijing on the 6th Ring Road in the south, but the video was less than 10 seconds long and was rather blurred. 坦克啊，坦克进京，路戒严。 On May 14th, a nearly 10,000-word speech about Li Keqiang filled the second page of the People's Daily. On May 17th, on the front page of the official Chinese media, People's Daily, a report titled Increasing Confidence and Stabilizing Expectations for the General Market Theme was circled in red, with Premier Li Keqiang as the main character in the report. In a tweet on May 17th, the former editor-in-chief and special commentator for the CCP's official media, Global Times, also boldly hinted at Li Keqiang's strong presence. It reads, "Those who follow this signal, abandon their doubts and uncertainties, and embrace new opportunities will prove to be true business heroes and heroes of the times." Echoing these messages are voices in the Western media, especially from Wall Street. The Wall Street Journal wrote, "For years, President Xi Jinping has sidelined China's second most powerful political figure, Premier Li Keqiang. Now Mr. Li is re-emerging as a force in his own right, a potential counterbalance atop the Chinese government that hasn't been seen for nearly a decade." During his first term in office, which began in 2012, Xi established his authority with a high-profile anti-corruption campaign and was expected to lead China toward becoming a democracy. But he rapidly fell into an unprecedented crisis with his sweeping left turn after the 19th Communist Party Congress in 2017. During the epidemic, in particular, his insistence on a zero-COVID policy sparked a huge controversy and gave his opponents a perfect target to attack. Specifically, the outbreak in Shanghai began to resurface in the spring of 2022, after which the Shanghai government adopted stringent control measures marked by the city lockdown. The strict lockdown led to a humanitarian disaster as well as an economic downturn and severe employment problems. It has worsened the crisis in the world supply chain as well. Shanghai is a unique city. It harbors Xi's nemesis, the Shanghai Gang, led by former party leader Jiang Zemin and his partner Chen Qinghong. While the aging Jiang is now a political symbol, Chen Qinghong has historically been known as the Communist Party's biggest conspirator. The already corrupt and incompetent Communist Party system, coupled with the intentionally disruptive Jiang-affiliated officials, has created unimaginably brutal chaos in the sealed city of Shanghai. The Jiang faction is also now being served by Chinese Vice Premier Han Zhan, a member of the Standing Committee of the Communist Party's Politburo. The Financial Times revealed on May 8th that Politburo Standing Committee member Han Zhan, one of Jiang's faction subjects, asked Xi to remove his trusted hand, the Shanghai Party secretary, from his post on the grounds of ineffective epidemic prevention. Messing up Shanghai and damaging Xi's image internationally is a major opportunity for Jiang's faction. This is because Shanghai's party and government are headed by two of Xi's cronies who were appointed by the central government and sent to the city. They have a weak base among Shanghai's grassroots officials. Li Qiang, the party secretary of Shanghai, is a popular candidate to join the Communist Party's top power group in the 20th Congress and become one of the 7 standing committee members of the Politburo. For the Jiang faction, the more chaotic Shanghai is as an internationally renowned metropolis, the better. The more humanitarian disasters, the better. And the more public discontent, the better. In fact, in recent years, there have been many rumors that Xi Jinping was in danger of a coup, such as the 2 assassination attempts before and after the Beidaihe conference in 2013, by a core member of Jiang's faction. Also, in the spring of 2017 and before the Beidaihe conference, there was the sudden fall of an important political figure, someone who was considered to be a candidate for the top spot as CCP leader. Rumor has it that his mistress had bought him a dragon robe, clothing that used to be reserved for emperors only, and burned incense and prayed at home every day. These attempted coups have even been officially substantiated. For example, at the 19th Communist Party Congress in 2017, the Securities and Futures Commission chairman at the time made a rare reference to several senior CCP members plotting to seize power from Xi. He said that those holding high positions of power in the party were both highly corrupt and extremely greedy, and conspired to usurp power from the party. The mentioned individuals, including the vice chairman of the military commission, have all been characterized by the Xi authorities as ambitious. Two former top officials of the Ministry of Public Security who have fallen from power in the past 2 years have also been reported as extremely ambitious politicians. It shows that ambitious individuals loyal to Jiang's faction still exist in the Communist Party, and that the internal fighting and the crisis facing Xi are real. However, the credibility of the coup rumors currently circulating online is low, and such rumors are more of a public opinion tactic from Jiang's faction. Many signs are showing that Xi believes that the military will ensure his re-election at the 20th National Congress. On May 13th, Xi's hardcore supporter, vice chairman of the CCP Central Military Commission, spoke at a conference referring to President Xi, declaring he would always act and fight under the absolute leadership of the party. These remarks may indicate that Xi Jinping is indeed under threat, but on the other hand, they also imply that Xi still maintains control of the military. We have seen Xi wearing a visibly heavy face in front of the camera at major meetings. This is very different from the confidence and composure that he had in the years after he took power in 2012, when his campaign against corruption was going well. It indicates that Xi's road to re-election is fraught with danger. Earlier, on March 10th, the Wall Street Journal reported that a senior member of the CCP and the premier under Jiang Zemin opposed Xi's re-election. Immediately afterward, a letter by this man, which included 9 recommendations to the CCP Central Committee, suddenly appeared online, rejecting each of the current policies of the Xi regime. The article is a severe criticism of Xi's series of leftist policies from the rightist perspective. On April 23rd, the Jiang-affiliated overseas media outlet Douyi News published an article entitled, "Revelations for China as the 4th generation of Singapore's Prime Minister is identified." The article suggests that the CCP should learn from Singapore's experience and propose that 200 members of the CCP Central Committee should select the next generation of top CCP leaders. The article implied that Xi Jinping shouldn't be re-elected and it was time to find someone to take over. 3 days later, on April 26, Douyi News suddenly announced that it would cease operations, citing internal business adjustments. This is obviously the result of the backlash against Xi for forcing his hand. Founded in January 1999 in New York, Douyi News was considered part of the Communist Party's larger outreach effort, contributing to the communist regime at large with a small amount of criticism. Headquartered in Beijing, Douyi News employed staff who mostly lived in mainland China. On February 19, 1997, the eventual owner of Douyi News got the exclusive right for global coverage of the death of Deng Xiaoping, the second-generation CCP leader during the reign of Jiang. Jiang Zemin was originally supported by Deng Xiaoping, and after Deng's death, Jiang assumed exclusive power over the CCP. With Douyi News ceasing its operation, the Jiang faction now relies mostly on social media and Western media. It can be said that the coup was fake, but the internal fighting is very real. The question is, even if Xi Jinping is overthrown, will China be better off with the weak premier Li Keqiang and the real bigwigs behind the CCP running the show? Our view is that for many sympathizers of the Chinese people, it is imperative to have a clear understanding of the CCP and dissolve it. Any hope for the CCP's regime to change itself for the better might only turn into a factor exploited by the evil group. The view propagated by the Jiang faction is, the era of Jiang Zemin and Hu Jintao can be said to be the best period in China's history in terms of relations with other countries, as well as a period when China had the most friends, the fastest development, and the most profits. Hu Jintao was Jiang's successor, but his power was so hollowed out by the Jiang faction that he was essentially a puppet of Jiang, and his directives didn't even leave his office. The message the Jiang faction tries to push is, look at Xi, he has screwed it all up. Yet, in reality, starting with Deng Xiaoping's reform and opening up in the early 1980s, the CCP took advantage of Western countries' goodwill toward China. It has been bragging about the so-called overtaking others on a bend. It means to make swift progress and surpass Western countries in economic and technological development during this period. In truth, it has been a systemic theft of foreign technology, plagiarism, counterfeiting, and complete disrespect for intellectual property rights and independent research and development. Once channels of theft are blocked gradually, China can only lag behind once again when it loses access to newer technologies. In the meantime, during this period, the CCP has squandered the clean air, land, and drinking water for the sake of the economy. It has exploited the wealth of the Chinese people and looted the national treasury, leaving the next generation of Chinese people with polluted mountains and rivers and huge debts. This debt includes the massive real estate bubble. If the real estate bubble is not handled, China's economy is likely to collapse at any moment, and if more controls are to be exerted in the real estate market now, it would inevitably lead to a depression. Jiang Zemin's group ruled the country by corruption, turning the Communist Party's officialdom into one big marketplace for power, money, and sex, where all officials are corrupt. Jiang is known for his motto, "The silent toad catches the fly."
今天是作为一个长者给你们讲讲，我不是新闻工作者，但是我见的太多了，我有这个必要好告诉你们一点人生的经验。中国有一句话叫“闷声大发财”，我就什么话就闷声大发财，这是最好的。
Jiang encouraged Chinese businessmen, officials, and his Wall Street buddies to unite and disregard the pursuit of morality, spirituality, and faith, and to set the meaning of life on making a fortune quietly or following the motto of "the silent toad catches the fly." On July 20th, 1999, because Jiang couldn't stand the fact that 100 million people believed in truthfulness, compassion, and forbearance instead of the CCP, he used the entire state apparatus to launch a brutal persecution, creating the world's worst human rights disaster in the 21st century. If we go further back in history, under Deng Xiaoping, a massacre took place in Tiananmen Square in 1989. Under Mao Zedong, the first party leader, various movements caused the death of tens of millions of Chinese from persecution and famines. The CCP is a party that opposes the universal values of humanity and the belief in God. These fundamental attributes are the root cause of all the chaos in China today. The CCP has come a long way in its 100-year history through horrific campaigns of persecution and deception. By the time Xi Jinping came to power, it can be said that the CCP was already saddled with bloodshed and sins. To oppose Xi but not the Communist Party is to turn a blind eye to the crimes and sins of the Communist Party over the past 100 years. Only by dissolving the CCP can the Chinese people and the world move on to something truly better.